and welcome to the Good Interview. I'm your host, Colin Birch, and today I'm grateful enough to be staying at Montusi Mountain Lodge and interviewing Lindsay Du Plessis. Lindsay, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Colin.
I'm glad to hear it. Said that early. It's been a rough Monday so far.
It has been quite a rushed Monday. Had a early morning and busy day, but it's nice to take a break and have a chat.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Well, yeah, again, thank you for inviting us. It's really a pleasure to be here.
That's great.
Yeah, awesome. So let's kick things right off. Montusi Mountain Lodge has been, even though it's only started in 2000, it is now renowned for its tranquility and also known for its luxury. And so how did this come about, the vision for Montusi?
Well, interestingly, it wasn't a natural kind of progression into a luxury kind of upmarket establishment, because when my parents started it 25 years ago, they moved from our sister resort, the Cavern, to start Montusi. And the Cavern was at the time, it was a really relaxed holiday for families, rough and ready kind of just go for it kind of holiday. And then when my uncle and aunt and parents split businesses, we ended up at Montusi, which was the more upmarket kind of idea. But it wasn't really my parents' flow, because they were the rough and ready, go out and jawl kind of people, and they didn't know anything about wine or like fancy places. And now they had to make a fancy holiday for a lot of Europeans.
Ah, yes.
And so it was the late 90s when they started this thing, and they had to learn fast. They went on a magical mystery tour around various 4- and 5-star hotels and lodges around the country, and then we're like, okay, let's pull some of that into the Berg, but still keep their own authenticity, which is a real experience. Like, there's no pretense here. We open our arms and welcome people here and give them a really special experience, while now 25 years later we've kind of got the luxury thing down.
Okay.
The accommodation is very comfortable, and you just feel like kind of embraced in a really special luxurious experience, while still relating to us as the owner family on an everyday basis. So I feel like it kind of, they grew fast, and then we caught it when they retired, and now we're carrying on.
I see. Yeah. Awesome. I like the story. And I also wanted to ask, right, besides the needing to essentially go explore to find some inspiration for the luxury, what other challenges did you guys come across?
Well, coming out of the old South Africa, really, finding a skilled staff was difficult.
Yes.
And so they had to do a lot of training of local staff to bring a 4-star service level to a very rural place with a lot of rural people who'd never experienced 4-star luxury themselves, even as the owners, the parents, hadn't really experienced
a whole lot of learning all round.
Exactly, yeah. And so we did import, like our chef was imported from the rest of the country out. I think the first chef was from the coast somewhere. And so, some skills were brought in, but the idea of the lodge was to employ locals and create jobs for the local community. And
that's beautiful,
we did. So like one of our chefs, the first 2 line cooks, actually signed up as builders during the construction phase, and they said to my folks, when it's time, we're coming into the restaurant. And the one guy, his name's Lucky Mia, he had this certificate from cooking on the mines, and that he was a management level cook. He could but then he and Gerald, the other line cook, learned under each of the professional chefs that came in to replicate amazing dishes. And so Gerald is actually still with us, 25 years old.
I'm glad to hear it. Okay, I see. Yeah, no, I can imagine that must have been quite something to get through, to try and source all of them and try and make it work. And it's sometimes I feel like it works out best when you might not always have the answers, but you know what you want to do, and then you grow as you go along.
Yeah.
You learn more and
I
you
think
adapt. Yeah.
Indeed. Like, I think most of the staff grew with us as well. So some of the staff have been here since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And they've watched even me as I've progressed through school, university, traveling, growing, now owning. And they've helped guide as well, which has been really helpful for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's a good team with a solid foundation.
I was going to say, how does that impact let's say the culture that you guys have here, considering you've known, well, most people have been here for such a long time?
Yeah. So the culture has always been quite a informal, kind of, or almost familial environment. And then when my folks retired and my sisters and I took over, there was a period of kind of the staff holding us as we grew into management and ownership. And then since then, we've tried to formalize, like become a bit more professional. But at the end of the day, we're still quite tight with our staff and quite friendly. Like, yeah, some of us are we can get away with a bit of murder because we can chat just openly.
Yeah.
So from the outside, it could, if someone was to see our interactions, they might raise an eyebrow. But at the end of the day, you kind of got each other's back. So
yeah, no, that's amazing. I like that. I really do. Yeah. And so going back to the comfortability side, of Montusi, how have the suites been designed to essentially combine both comfortability and elegance, right? And while still retaining a kind of connection to the natural surroundings.
Yeah. So that we in the initial planning, each room was going to be its own building with its own space around it. So one of the key factors is the space, that everybody has like their own piece of garden, their own view. You don't have to interact with other people if you don't want to. Meals are served together, so that's when, and obviously pre-dinner, drinks and stuff, people can chat and get to know each other, and then if they like to hang out, then there's a space for that. But a lot of our guests actually come away as a couple and they just want to be with each other. They don't really want to have to deal with other people.
Makes sense.
So the space thing is one of the important factors of Montusi. Then the actual units have got a big bedroom, a lounge, and then a comfortable bathroom as well. So everywhere within the unit there's enough, like, it's comfortable space. You're never feeling tight. So that is, I think, a luxury in itself, because if you go to any city hotel, you get a small square as your allocated space. And you've got space to move. And in our mountain suites, the bathrooms are big enough to dance in, like, proper.
That's amazing.
It's a jewel. So it's quite luxurious that way. And then when it comes to the furnishings, we've always used kind of the best available fabrics and materials to make them really lovely. And we've got beautiful mosquito nets, and the view of the big open windows. There's great views from every room. So we invite the outside in.
That's awesome.
And that's
I like that.
kind of a big design feature of the lodge, is that we want to bring the natural beauty inside.
Kind of a fluidity between the two.
Exactly, yeah. And then using thatched roofs, so that is kind of blends with the natural environment as well. So if you're driving up to Montusi, it doesn't stand out like a big beacon. It really blends into,
hidden into the hills.
And also at night, our lighting scheme outside is all downlit, very minimal outside lighting, because we're trying to avoid light pollution. And so that you can walk from your room to the main building without falling over your feet, but at the same time you can still see the stars. So that's kind of the idea behind that.
Awesome. And sorry, my mind just blanked there for a second. No, so I wanted to ask, In terms of activities, all right, and the experiences that are offered here at Montusi, which do you feel define the spirit of the lodge best, and what do you hope people will take away from these experiences?
So I hope that people will come here with an idea of exploration, that they don't have to be shown every single surprise, that they will walk down in past the stables and suddenly stumble across the most beautiful dam, I think, in the world, with this magical reflective view. And it's always peaceful and calm, even in the windiest day. So that little corner, you kind of nudge people in the right direction, but I don't want to say, okay, come with me and drag you down and I'll look at this and you will like it.
Yeah.
That's not what we do.
Yeah.
So all over the lodge, there are all over the property, there are features that we kind of advise people to go on an adventure and see what they can find. And, between it's called the Stables Dam and the Fergie's Forest Loop and the Waterfall Cave, Bushman Cave, those little places are just havens of magic. You mission a bit to get there, you walk, and then suddenly you get into the space and it's absolutely peaceful. And you can feel a real connection to like the history, the ancestry, between also the rock art in the Bushman Cave takes you back to the Bushmen themselves. And then if you just feel the connection to the earth itself, it's something that is really special about this area. And there's no noise. So you can be enjoying a really quiet space without having to hear the cars from the highway, which is unusual.
That's always beautiful. Yeah, it's always nice, really.
Yeah. What I hope that our guests will come, they arrive, and it's a beautiful space, and then they can go out and explore it further,
for themselves.
And then come across all these secret hidden places.
All right, then. Out of curiosity, do you have perhaps a favorite spot?
I have a few.
Okay.
So it depends on the day.
But
the Bass Dam, the Stables Dam, for me is just a haven because I have little children, so they can swim and jump off a little small cliff, and it's very exciting for them. And I can read in peace and not worry about them because they're water safe, and I can enjoy the sunshine. But then also Montusi Peak, which is our big mountain behind us.
Yeah.
It's the highest point of the estate, and to get up there is quite a slog. It's an hour climb up of walking, not climbing.
Yeah.
But the view up there is phenomenal. So you can see 360 degrees mountains forever, and then you can see all the way down past Bergville and into the Central Berg on the High Berg. So the view is great. The walk up there is exhilarating. It's tough. And you get up there and you're puffing and huffing, and it's well worth it. Yeah.
Well, they say it's only about an hour, which is interesting. I suppose obviously the landscape differs, right? But I remember when we went for a hike, cavern side, it took us about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to get to a point where we could actually just see over. And
So we grew up in the cavern, and as a child I hated hiking because everything was uphill.
Yeah, of course.
So I opted to horse ride every day, and so I would explore the valleys. Now as a grown up, those hikes are amazing, but it's the first hour and a half you just mission up to get to the viewpoint. With us, we're quite lucky because we're away from the valley slightly. You can just do the hour up, and then you get that nice view across all the mountains.
Right.
So that's a nice differential between the two places.
Cool. And so in terms of sustainability, right, what type of eco-conscious practices do you guys try to achieve, and how does that work on a daily basis exactly?
Okay, so in the beginning, the idea was that we'd always have something that worked in harmony with the area. So in the planning, we have made indigenous gardens for one thing. They don't need to be watered. They don't need to have any extra chemicals put on them to control bugs and beasts or weeds. And so our garden is established as a sustainable garden. It's all so indigenous. It brings in birds and bees. So it's a big bee feeder for the area. Not far from us, we have a bit of monoculture, which we need to counterbalance with the bees. Okay, so there's that. And then in terms of water cleanliness and security, we own our catchment for our water system here. And one of the biggest parts of keeping it healthy is to make sure it doesn't have any alien plants in it. So we have a big alien plant management system going on. So we get rid of wattles and gums and pines from the catchments, as well as the rest of the property. So we have 1,000 hectares under Montusi, and it's
quite large.
big responsibility to keep it clear of wattle. Because when we got this property, when my folks bought it, it was choked with wattle trees.
Wow.
And that was as a result of mismanagement, essentially. And so between 94 and 96, there was a massive project helped by the government to eradicate wattles from this area. And then it's up to the landowner to maintain that. So the first wave came in, and like 200 people would come in, cut down the trees, and then we would be left with the stump removal and managing the seedbed, which lasts like 100 years.
What?
So you can never stop managing them. So we have to be really aware of that. And in water conservation, we do only every second day tile changes, and then just general water management, really. But one of the things we're most proud of is that the river below the lodge,
No problem.
the river below the lodge, the water is clean enough to drink.
Ooh.
Okay. So we get our water tested monthly by a company from Durban. They test it at the incoming area, and there it's clean enough to drink. It's a bit brown, but it's not got any gross things in, like bacteria and stuff. So you could actually drink it straight from the dam if you wanted to. We do filter it to get into the lodge.
Of course.
And then down below us is our outlet stream, essentially. And there you've tested it as well, and it is as clean as it was before, if not cleaner.
Wow,
Okay.
that's incredible, actually. Yeah.
Like when you think about impact, and we don't have zero impact. Obviously, there's an impact of the operation, but in terms of our downstream water, we are on top of that. So I think that for me, that's a huge feather in our cap.
Nice.
What else? Sustainability is also humans.
So
we, as a family, we intend to be here for as many generations as possible. So we need to work with our people. We've got to look after our community. So when we talk about sustainability, we also have to have a healthy community. And that is a big challenge in itself. Rural poverty is a thing, and it's inherited through the generations. So what we want to try and do is through our Rural Drakensberg Education Trust to uplift the Amazizi community, but also just to be honest employers. Like provide a safe place for people to work, and where people are happy to come to work, and when they're at work, they are fulfilled and they can grow. You might not have an opportunity to move from a waitress to GM, but when you are being a waitress, you have the chance to study other things. So a couple of our waitresses study at the same time and go on to become teachers and nurses, which has been really good. And then one of our maintenance guys, he worked his way through electrical, he got his electrician's certificates, while working here. So, you want to kind of be a springboard for people. And that's also not only for our family, but for our staff.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ethos to have, no doubt, and mindset to have in general, wanting to uplift those around you, not just, obviously the guests and everyone who comes here, you want them to have a nice day and that, but while you're here, you're wanting to make an impact in any and every conceivable way, which I can see through these types of initiatives. So we actually interviewed Tabani yesterday, right, from Royal Drakensberg Primary School. And I wanted to ask you, because you also mentioned it just now, in terms of wanting to sustain and upskill people and, care for the land and the communities. What is your part in helping to support the Royal Drakensberg Primary School? Yeah.
So, first of all, the primary school was our kids' school. So
oh, wow.
Our kids attended. So we were part of the community until they were 10 years old. And in that, I think we called upon every now and then to do helpful things like sponsor cakes and tea gardens for various occasions. And so there's like basic kind of sponsorships where we would help buy stuff and bake things and that element. But that's quite a small scale.
Yeah.
What we would, what our main thing would be is to expose our guests to the Northern Drakensberg Education Trust and allow them to visit the school and to meet Tobani particularly and the staff, and then just have a little time with the kids if the kids are available, to play with people and see an element of real hope, and it's a real beacon, that school, of what excellence can be, because rural education is full of challenges, and we all know that our schools are underfunded and overcrowded and all of that. But having this school, which is privately funded by donors that are mostly exposed to the project through our businesses, the Cavan and Montusi and Sungubala, that if we can keep the school amazing and sustainable, then it can spread its knowledge and resource to the rest of the community as well. So we've also, in the Royal Drakensberg Education Trust, you've got the Kanyisela project, which is the creches. So the teachers of the creches come to the school, and then they are uplifted as well. So in that capacity, we help with catering as well, for those occasions. So mostly it's through getting our guests in touch with the project.
I see.
So we like the conduit. That's our big thing, because businessing is tough.
No doubt.
And at the moment, so eventually we'll be in a position where we can do proper financial support. But for now, we like to be the conduit.
Awesome. Well, every little bit helps at the end of the day. I'd like to think. Yeah. All right. So in terms of Ruth Cott, right? Everybody, or it seems like all the generations are indebted to her and Bill, right, for what they started originally. And I just wanted to find out if you had anything to say about Ruth, any particular memories or any lessons you learned from her that you.
So I get a little emotional. I didn't get to know her properly because she died when I was 7. Sure. But the kind of footsteps she put in place as a mother and a business owner, you can only really appreciate now when we putting in the ground and pushing so hard to make the school fees, for our kids. And then when they're home, they just demand you. And I can't imagine how she managed by herself, without a husband, without the dad, to raise her babies into amazing people. Like our dad and our uncle, both uncles and our aunt were phenomenal adults. And so she was pushing her business and raising her kids in the middle of nowhere. And sending them off to boarding school when they're so little. And now my kids are bigger. They're like 11 and 9. And when you send them on Sunday nights, you snuggle in and you're like, okay, babies, you got a whole week ahead. I don't want to go to school. And they get sad. But they're going to an amazing school that's super supportive. And they're coming back on Friday. Her babies were going to a horrible school, like a rough boarding school. And they were going to come back in 2 months' time. And it must have been absolutely heartbreaking for her to say, okay,
I can only imagine.
It's going to be fine. Off you go, and you'll be okay. And then they had to go. There was no other option. It wasn't like, we can just stay home. We'll go down the road. No, there was none of that. So in terms of overcoming the mom challenge and the business challenge, I am absolutely in awe of her. Like
no doubt.
And so grateful. Because had she left the Cavan, so that her husband died, she's got her 4 kids, and her whole family's like, you should come back to Durban and do sensible things and be sensible in Durban. Had they left the Cavan, we would have been, like, this whole valley would have been poorer, I can't imagine anyone having taken over that little guest farm and pouring so much effort and passion into this area. Like our oldies, Anthony and Peter, my uncle and dad, they spent their lives making this valley pristine, and keeping it amazing. And so Ruth's fortitude allowed them to kind of lay the groundwork for the nature reserve, which we finally have. You know, and so now there's this whole nature reserve, which is actually, if you trace it all the way back to her decision to like be the brave lady and forge through, you know.
Exactly, to persevere,
yeah,
regardless. Power of dreams at the end of the day, right?
And then also, like, our community involvement is massive as well, because without her staff, like her guys, they backed her, you know. And I think that's part of our history that we haven't paid enough attention to, is that the workers that were looking after her, like, she would have never managed without them. And if we look at all of our histories, when even our transition, without the support of our staff, we would have fallen apart. And like, I feel like we need to pay more attention to the guys that backed Gogo Ruth, you know, because there were this handful of like amazing men that just came every day and built the stuff and fixed the things, and
takes a team.
You know, and she would. There was one guy. He told a story. His name was Pelelani. No, it's Pelelani's brother. So he was. So there were 3 brothers, and they lived nearby here, and they were of the same age as my dad and uncle. And they told the story about how Gogo Ruth used to say, "Oh, you naughty boy," and he would say, that mlungu. "Oh,
That
you naughty boy," she would say.
Yeah.
And like, it was Javalani and Pelelani and Robert, and they were these 3 brothers. And my husband actually worked with Javalan, and Javalani would tell my husband, there was this whippersnapper young Durbanite who came up here, about Gogo Ruth, and telling him, "You're not a boy." just So
nice
those
memory,
guys they were really special to us. We owe them everything as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That was a lovely story.
Sure.
I'm glad you went down that route. Yeah. See, it's little things like that that I wouldn't have known, and that's why I wanted to ask you as well, because I did ask Megan as well, right?
Yeah.
But everyone gives different answers, and you get different perspectives, so it's nice to hear. Yeah,
cool.
100%. And so, furthermore, right, on Montusi's website, right, you guys also have a blog section, and in one of the blogs, rising to the, let me just double check what it was, rising to the challenge of legacy, right? It obviously mentions Bill's vision to make to create beauty, to make the land more fertile, and to leave the world better than we came into it. But along with that, there's also was it that one? Okay, no, that's the next question, actually. So that actually, the next 2 questions roll into one. So with that being said, with Bill's vision, right, it also carries on to then paraphrase one of Nietzsche's quotes, right, which is, "He who has a why can bear any how." And so I wanted to ask you, what is your why, and how do you feel it has motivated you to carry on the legacy?
Sure. My why, I think, is rooted in gratitude and appreciation for my life. So when you look around here, you're living in the most beautiful place, surrounded by really nice people, like really good humans. And that's what I want for my kids. So my why is to provide a space that is as nice for them as I have. And that kind of space is a place where you can drink water out the river, where you can mission and be on your own and never be afraid. And be surrounded by people that are invested in something special, that are not just takers. So I want to provide that for my kids. That's pretty much it.
Well, I'd say that's
pretty basic.
Even then, I think that's a beautiful way to go about it, and it doesn't always need to be, what seems sometimes to be insignificant to us sometimes speaks very loudly, in actual repercussion. So that's beautiful. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I think you may have touched on this a bit earlier, right? But I just want to see if maybe something else might come up. Following on from the question we just had, right? yes, you have Bull's vision, but I also saw another one that was really beautiful on Montusi's website, which is to restore and sustain individuals, families, communities, and the environment by looking to the future, developing ourselves, and honing our core expression. So I wanted to ask, what does this encompass, and how does this play out on a daily basis?
So the idea behind that is that everybody has something inside of them that is important that they get out and share with the world.
Yeah.
Because essentially the purpose of our belief of the purpose of that, our existence, is to find what is special about your heart and to share that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we are distracted by just the ground, really. And so by honing our core purpose is to investigate, within ourselves what it is that really matters, and then to find our flow, so that once you're in your flow, like flow state, you can just interact with people much more openly and live a full experience.
Okay.
So in practice, not always achieved.
Yeah, much easier said than done, as all things. But
that is kind of the guiding light, and that we want. So Loretta is my older sister, and Catherine and I. Loretta is the one who's most kind of in tune. She's the trailblazer when it comes to life experience, and so she kind of encouraged us to look for something bigger. And then, so as the owners of the business, those are, that's what we need to get right.
Yeah.
And then we want to provide a space that our staff can do the same. And then if our staff and us are working in flow, then the people that we get in here will hopefully find flow too. And when you're in the ground, and especially in cities, there's no time to connect with real.
It often happens, yes.
Yeah, so you're always running on superficial, and the real is a lot sometimes scary for people, especially quiet. Like, you don't know what to do with this emptiness. What is this not sound?
Yeah, how do I fill it? How do I fill this void?
Yeah. So, and actually, if you sit and listen, the quiet is not quiet. It's very busy. The birds are very loud, and chatty, and just everything. If you can quiet your mind and actually connect to that, like, energetic connection that we all have between us and the earth and everything, then you can probably live a happier life. So in practical experience, we try and reach that and then allow our guests to feel the same without being weird. Like, like, hey, come into the flow. You don't want to force folks into to flowing, but to provide a space
some type of 70s commune, like,
you will flow here. So, so like I think that the warmth that our staff naturally are, they're just warm people, and when people come in and you welcome them and you're like, here's this cool space, do fun things, and then they leave quite touched. They feel different.
That's extraordinary. The two things I'd like to touch on there: one, the silence speaks louder than we think. 100%. The world changes in the blink of an eye, and often in silence, and we don't even necessarily pick up on it because we're so honed in on our narratives, right? And the things that we think are important. And I'm sure sometimes they are important, but there are many times where our minds are preoccupied with things that are not important. And just distract us. And it takes a place like this, for example, where you can just kind of sit down and get away from all of that to kind of rejuvenate yourself a little bit, take a step back from what you thought was important and be able to reevaluate and see things in a different light.
That's something that we hope will happen here.
And the second one was what you mentioned in the beginning about finding your gift, and kind of sharing that. It reminds me of I think it was Picasso, but it could also be like apocryphal. Might not actually be a true story, but I think he had a quote somewhere along the lines of, the purpose of life is to find your gift, and the meaning. No, sorry. The meaning of life is finding your gift. The purpose of life is giving your gift away. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me of that as well. And
Yeah.
it's so true, man. You'd be. I often am so surprised by the fact that once people are in, doing what they need to do, that just by virtue of them being where they need to be, they affect so many people. They change so many lives, and even help them find where they need to be as well. It's like a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
That's cool.
Right. So we took a little bit of a detour there and just into different forays. But in terms of, let's say, the card collection, right? How do you feel Montusi fits in with the cavern and Sangobala, and how does it complement it? And what do you feel is, gives it kind of a unique little edge, stands out?
So, there are 3 different kinds of spaces. All of them are connected by access to the wilderness and a deep connection to the area. And the fact that we are owner run, and it really matters to us that this place, our places, the 3 places, that they give people a wonderful experience. It's like one of our greatest driving forces.
Yeah.
But what separates the 3 is essentially the products. So where Montusi is quiet and relaxed, and you've got the space to explore. The cavern, there's a jaw. You could get involved in this cool buzz, and so there's organized hikes, there's organized activities. There's a space where kids can make friends and keep like friends from completely different parts of the world, and then keep friends. Every year you can meet the same friends at Easter.
Yeah.
So
many happy returns.
Yeah, exactly. And then with Sangobala, and it's a place where people have the freedom to do their own thing. You don't have to organize meals or organized activities. You go and you cater for yourself. It's very low key, relaxed, but it's still super comfortable. So each of the establishments has a different edge. Growing up at the cavern, I have so many fond memories of the holidays, because the same crowds would come back Christmas, New Year, Easter, July. It's the same teams 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And you'd have the best holidays because of that. I think it's changed a bit now, although it's come full circle now, because the people that I was friends with as a teenager are bringing their kids back.
Hey, look at that.
So and then their children are making friends, and it's a really lovely cycle to be in. So in terms of a family holiday, I don't think you can beat the cavern. Our kids, we would take on the weekends and go and hang out there and just be pretend guests and just have it all. And
Nice.
then Sangobala, if you want to go there and you're self-catering, you want to wake up any time of the day and go on amazing hiking, mountain biking adventures, or just read. Imagine you could just go to the mountains and there's no phones and irritating TV. And you can
Fair
just
enough,
read your book for days. Oh my gosh, it's my kind of holiday. My children not so much, but they would like the cavern. I would like Sangobala or Montusi. And then Montusi, of course, is the luxury. So it's a real spoil. You don't have to lift a finger. Everything is laid on. You don't have to worry about bringing an umbrella or a torch or a Mozzie to spray. We've got it all.
Nice.
I left my toothpaste. Oh, here we go. It's
Wow,
all
sounds lovely.
so you don't, and that's another thing about this Montusi is that, people can come with hiccups, like, I've got this problem, and then we can fix it. Most of the time, we can help people, even if it's like a random thing, like, I left our chargers at Umgazi. Oh, well, then let's make a plan to get it, and
Sweet.
so I think in terms of being cared for and looked after, Montusi's got that down. The cavern, in terms of like providing a fun, the cavern's got that down, and the Sangobala, in terms of just giving you freedom,
Okay.
that's what that is.
Thank you for that breakdown. I appreciate that.
Well, that's my idea.
Yeah.
My impression.
I can understand that. You
Yeah.
know, having visited the 3 camps now, I can definitely see where you're coming from with
Yeah.
that and how they all kind of fit into each other there.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of future developments for Montusi, are there any new experiences or activities or developments that you guys are looking at, trying to implement or wanting to implement?
So, we've just revamped all the rooms.
Mm.
So that's been a project in itself. But now we've managed that. Now we can move on to other parts. The next thing is to kind of make a cellar, not an actual cellar, but like a cellar experience in our one area where people can peruse many different wines and choose from that to elevate the dining experience. So that's our current focus, is the wine department.
I see.
Thankfully,
Yes.
someone else can take care of the actual choosing, because I don't drink wine. So
Okay,
everyone
okay.
judges me so hard. Like, I'm the food and beverage person.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm just going to ask the others about this wine. So, yeah, so we're working on that currently. And then going forward, we will also move. There's our outside eating area. We would like to elevate that. So in terms of guest experience, we'll have more dining kind of options into where to eat and stuff. And then we'll have elevated the dining experience with our fancy wines. And then future, we'll go into improving our spa. So in terms of like actual new developments, we're not really looking to do any new developments. We're trying to make what we've got really
better.
special. So we're in the
more
improvement. We're in the improvement phase,
Okay.
rather than expansion. Because it's quite a thing to manage already. And I don't know if we could take on extra stuff yet.
Fair enough. Yeah, got to deal with what you got before you can
make what we got amazing, and then we can expand.
100%. Okay. So I have one final question for you, Lindsay, and that is essentially just, if you had one message for guests or potential guests, people who are looking for a reason to get away from the hustle and bustle, and maybe looking at Montusi for that place, what would you say to them? What would that message be?
Well, I think to visit Montusi is a place that you can really open your experience. You can come here and completely unwind, and really connect with your people or yourself. And what makes it special is that there's an element of care here that I don't think you will get other places. And we are really invested in providing a peaceful and special experience. So, I think that's the message. Just, you got to come here and you have to experience the peace and you have to experience the quiet, and you got to smell the air. It's like amazing. And these are things that you can't put into pictures or video. But you can really, you got to experience it.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And
Thanks.
this has been a truly lovely conversation. I appreciated every bit of it. Thank you again for taking the time to do this interview. And we wish you nothing but continued flourishing. And
Thank you.
may you go from strength to strength. Enjoy, all the best with your your refinement of Montusi and the new the pre-existing things that you're wanting to build up, and make it. I mean, it seems like it's an incredible experience, but there's always room for improvement in anything, in any case in life. So thank you again. I appreciate it immensely.
Thanks, Colin.
Right. Cool. And to our viewers at home, thank you also for watching. We could not do it without you. We hope you've enjoyed this series, and we'll see you very, very soon. Until then, stay kind.